Let's get it cracking. It's Thursday. Hello, hello. It's Thursday. I got out of work early. Figured I'd go live, see what's cracking. Hello, hello. It's Thursday night. And we are live. How's everybody doing? Normally I'd be at work at this time on a Thursday, but they needed somebody to go home early. We were overstaffed, so I took advantage. It's also my anniversary with my wife today, so that was part of the reason I accepted the early release. Hola, Ramona. So, yeah, my wife and I said I do 29 years ago. That's crazy. Most of the people I work with aren't that old. They still can't keep up with your boy. So what's everybody up to tonight? It is cold. It hasn't quite started storming yet, but it's supposed to be snow in the morning. It's April. Mother Nature's tripping right now. Hey Mona, can I make you a moderator so that if we have a loco come on, you can handle that for me so I don't have to scramble for that? Everybody smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for my prison stories, war stories, stuff like that. What's up, Hellfire Paintball? He says, hey, Bobby, shout out from Australia. Shout out to you, too. Hope you're doing well. Let me add as a moderator. Okay. Jesse Walker says, you've been there along. Huh? I'm not quite sure I understand that. Max Hendry says, prison stories and war stories. All right, let's hear some. Shoot. Yeah. Actually, if you take a look at my page, I got like 180 videos or so, kind of all over the place. I got street stories. I have prison stories, county jail stories, LA County jail stories. I got all kinds of stuff. Sexy Latina says 29 years married and it will be 34 years in August. Yes, it will. So Jesse Walker says you've been through a lot, huh? Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Got about 100 years experience and 50 years on this earth. been through meth addiction, uh, numerous incarcerations, California Department of Corrections. Uh, Jesse Walker says, "You find Jesus yet?" I know Jesus. Yes, I do. Um, yeah, I'm not like a super religious person, but I definitely know the Lord. So, yeah, today is my anniversary with my wife. I'm going to be working on a video later uh, about prison wives and the what it's like to be supported while you're in prison, stuff like that. What how important it is to have a good support system on the outside. A lot of I've seen so many guys in there just total stress box because they were worried about what their girl was doing on the street. And luckily, I was blessed to never really have to worry about that because, I got a good one. So, Max Hendry says LA County. Yeah. Up and all over LA County, Min Central, Medium North, Supermax. Only place I didn't see in LA County was the Twin Towers. But as I understood it, that was people with mental health issues, meds, stuff like that. So I'll give you guys a little sneak peek of what that video is going to be like about prison wives and support. So I was in LA County. I was in Supermax. I believe it was 723 dorm living. And one day, like the program was shut down. Basically, it was daytime. I think they were getting ready to serve chow. And basically what happened was one of the deputies came to the bars and he called out my name. So, I come up to the bars and I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" Yeah, I come up to the bars and, he says, he tells me, "You need to call your wife. She's been bugging my watch commander and she needs to stop. So call her. You got like 2 minutes." So I'm like, "Hey, program shut down right now. So, I'll do it as soon as they open up program and the phones are on." And the deputy says, "No, go call her right now. She won't quit bothering my watch commander." And I went over to the phones and I made that phone call. But now keep in mind, there's about 80 men who don't have access to those phones, and they're all looking at me, and like I felt like, oh my God, like I'm gonna die. So I made the call, made it quick, you know what I mean? Told her she didn't know where I was at, is what it was. So yeah, I made it a quick call. I let her know, "Hey, yeah, this is where I'm at." And because I didn't have a good number to call her on as I remember it. And the deputy gave me the number to call. And basically, so I made that call to her, told her, "Yeah, you know what, I'll get at you when they open up the program." And basically, as I'm walking away, some of my homeboys got at me. They're like, "Hey, fool, what was that all about?" And I explained it, and I honestly didn't know if I was going to get beat up at that point or what the deal was. So, yeah, that was an interesting LA County jail story. I never seen that happen before. And, you know, so yeah, that was an interesting tale. But, you know, yeah, I did I would say the majority of my. Oh, you know what? Let me go back. I seen a question in regards to Max Hendry said, "How is LA County compared to Orange County? I've only been busted in Orange County, Theo Lacey, and Maine Central." You know what, Max? It's kind of ironic because most of the business I was doing when I was selling narcotics was in Anaheim. And in all honesty, I expected to go to Orange County Jail when I got busted. And somehow I ended up in LA County Jail. That's I told that story about the night I caught my sales case. You could take a look at my playlist. It's under War Stories and check that out where I tell the story of that. But yeah, I never seen Orange County. I was on probation in LA, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. But yeah, I can't tell you what the comparison is like. I've seen some videos of some stuff cracking off in Orange County though in the dorms. And as far as the setup, it looks similar, you know? It looks similar, but I know, it's not necessarily the facility that makes the facility, it's who's in there. So, I like in San Bernardino County as an example, I've been in dorms where pretty much anything goes, and then somebody shows up that has some authority, I guess you would say, and things change real quick. That's you could say that for prison yards as well. Um, it a lot of it really is who's there. You know, so yeah, that's the best I can answer that. Max Hendry says Anacrime. Yeah, yeah, we were doing stuff. Uh, we had Lincoln Boulevard sewed up pretty good. Lincoln and Magnolia was one of the spots, the apartments over there. I think it was behind Ted's Burgers, if I remember correctly. Uh, then we had the Lincoln Inn sewed up pretty good. And all the way down on the far end of Lincoln by the 57, we had another spot over there. So yeah, we were doing some things over there, and surprisingly, I never got busted there. So lucky for me, I guess. Definitely had some close calls though, where, um, you know, I could have got busted, but cop just missed something or something. Cora says, "Hey, Dad, we just got here with the kids. How long have you been live?" I've been on for about 15 minutes. Cora, 13 minutes. Hey, Coco, how you doing? Or should I say Q? What's the word? We're talking about uh, my wife and I's anniversary today, and I'm going to be working on a video later about prison wives and being supported, uh, and how important that is to somebody that's doing time. Because really, the thing is, it's not just the individual that's doing time. It's the family has it just as rough as the person that's in there. Max Hendry says slinging black and white. No, it was more like the Folgers crystals, if you know what I mean. I'm trying to watch what I say on here so that they don't penalize me on YouTube. But yeah, it was that and some green. This was back in the early 2000s, so the green still wasn't legal, but we had that going on as well. Thanks, Max Hendry. I appreciate it. He says, "Happy anniversary, by the way." Appreciate you. So, yeah, I should have that video up tomorrow in regards to that, and that I'll talk on that on some experiences of how much better your time can be as an inmate if you're supported. And I'm not just talking about financially, I'm talking about emotionally, just having somebody to write you a letter, you know what I mean? Or that will accept a phone call now and then. you know, having contact with the outside world is so important when you're in there because, in there it's a small world, it's very violent, and being able to talk to somebody out here that can tell you what's going on in the real world is priceless. So I'm going to work on that video. And also, I wanted to say that video I did on Wes Watson, uh, it was a lot shorter than I wanted it to be. And I was kind of disappointed in it, to be honest with you. I'm working on creating better quality content. And I don't feel like that one was that great. But what's up, Big Rob? So, yeah, that's kind of what's in the pipeline. And then somebody brought it to my attention. Yeah, that there was a heist in Silmar where I guess it was like a warehouse that was storing cash, and like they got away with like $30 million. They're saying so. I think I'm going to be working on that this weekend and getting something out on that as well. Max Henry says being busted sucks, especially the first couple of weeks when you're kicking dope. No doubt about it, bro. No doubt about it. And then he says, when you get with the program, it starts to get better. Yeah, it absolutely gets better. Once you start getting that stuff out of your system and you've gotten some sleep and, you get up, start exercising a little bit, and now you're eating better. I don't want to say eating good because, in the county jail, you're not eating good. A good day is having a soup to eat after dinner type of thing. But, or, maybe a honey bun or something. But you're definitely eating better than you were when you're out there running around getting high and stuff. So, that's straight facts there, Max. So yeah, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe, check out the playlist. I got about 180 videos at this point. I've been doing this for like maybe about 8 months or so. And I got stories from war stories from the street, county jail, San Bernardino, Riverside, and Los Angeles, as well as some state prison adventures that I talk on. Hell, there's even some fitness stuff in there from when I started. This channel started as a weight loss channel type of thing. So, what's up, Determinator Lee? Hope you're doing well. So, where's everybody checking in from tonight? Sounds like we're bracing for some snow in the morning where I'm at. It's April already. This stuff should be over. But, so, yeah, I appreciate you, Determinator. Alfonso Almaderis, I hope I said that right, bro. Says, what's up, Tough OG? Saying, what's up from Richmond, California. Yeah, shout out to Richmond. Some good homies from up that way. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm going to be working on that video later on. I got out of work early tonight. Normally I work until like 3 in the morning. But we were overstaffed and I took advantage. It's also my wife and I's wedding anniversary. We've been married for 29 years, so took advantage of the opportunity to get out. Uh-oh, you guys are pissing off the sexy Latina. She says it's not cool to push topics about God down someone's throat. You're aware of who Jesus is, period. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely know who Jesus is. So we'll Max says checking in from the orange from the OC. I remember when I had my first riot in jail. It was right after we got commissary, right before breakfast at like 5:30 in the morning, and it popped off. The whole place was shaking. I remember my legs were shaking. My heart was beating faster than ever. Man, I know that feeling, Max. And man, right after commissary came in, that sucks because I'm sure those deputies came in and tore that place up afterwards. I know in the county jails I've been in that's what they like to do. Max says I started swinging and went crazy. I pissed my pants a little bit out of fear. You know what? I'll tell you, Max. Anybody that anybody that says that they don't feel any fear when a riot kicks off is lying. I mean, you have a bunch of men trying to maim each other basically, and it's not a good situation to be in, you know, unless you have big numbers as opposed to the warring faction that you're dealing with. But even then, even when you do have the numbers, people can still be hurt. So yeah, it's wild. I don't know if you've seen my story, Max, but I have a story on a riot I was in the LA County Jail, and I don't know if that was the first one I was ever in, but yeah, you should check that one out. That was we got off with the Paisas, and like I took some lumps in that one. We were way outnumbered, but in there everything is respect, and if people aren't going to respect you, then you have to do what you have to do. It's a different world when you're incarcerated. The rules of the real world don't really apply in there. Everything is based on respect, and you know disrespect just isn't going to be tolerated. So what brand of smokes, says the Scarecrow, the smoker? These are the Montegos. That's I can't afford them $10 pack ones. Everything's $10 a pack nowadays. Those are like $7 or something. They're expensive in Cali. Hell, they're expensive everywhere from what I hear, but yeah, so if you guys are checking in, do me a favor and smash that like button. It helps to support the channel. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. We're at like 960 Joel Merez says, what's up with all these Jesus hounds in here? Calm down, SA. You don't got to push your faith on a random person. Yeah. Max Hendry says, going to jail for a decent length of time is an absolute reality check. There's people in this world that will not think twice about hurting you. You have zero remorse. Absolutely agree. Like I was saying before, once you're incarcerated, it's a whole nother world in there. And, things like removing somebody, as an example, people might look at that as cowardly in the free world, but the thing is, either you're going to get with the program or you're not going to be there. And that's the world of incarceration. And the thing, like I talked before on, we were going to remove somebody in LA County Jail. We were cell living, and some Southsiders had basically taxed another wood. There's only like 3 of us on the whole damn block. And basically he got punked behind bars. He was like, they were on the other side of the bars. He was on one side, they were on the other side. And he gave up all his stuff. And, basically me and the other would, at the next unlock, we were going to get on him and get him out of there, because if you're not going to stand up for yourself with bars in between you, you're definitely not going to stand up for yourself when somebody's in your way. And if something were to kick off, we can't rely on you. So, yeah, we were going to get on this guy. And I told this story, and someone said I had called him a coward, and someone had said, sounds like we were the cowards. But like I said, it's, it's a different world when you're incarcerated. A lot of the standards and practices of the free world are, it's not the same. So in the free world, if somebody wants to be a coward or whatever, that's their thing. But in there, everybody is relying on one another, especially when you're within the same faction. And if you're not going to be reliable for, assisting when necessary or just standing on your own 2 feet, then we're not going to program with you. And that's just the way it is, But, like I always say, the thing is, if you don't get yourself in trouble and you don't end up incarcerated, then you won't have to worry about none of this stuff. So, that's my best advice to everyone is if you don't like the way things are in there, then, don't go there and you won't have to worry about it. Scarecrow the Smoker says, don't, Southsiders and Woods got a truce. There's a truce between all of the groups on the big yards in prison. The agreement to end hostilities is what it was called, and they brought all the big homies out of the shoe. Yeah, Southsiders and Woods do break bread together, but I can't really speak for right now because I haven't been in prison in quite a while. It's been 18 years. But when I was doing time, we kicked it together. Like we could play cards, we could spread, we could do whatever we wanted to do. But at the same time, there could be hostilities, and the thing is, it would occasionally kick off between us. And I think it was just because of we were around each other a lot. And the slightest inclination of disrespect, in there, like it could start a war. Somebody feels slighted or something, then like it could lead to a whole big thing. So, but, they did that end of hostilities agreement in like 2014. As far as I know, all the big homies are out of the shoe now. And that's keeping a lot of peace on these prison yards. The thing is, like big conflicts between, say, the whites and the blacks or the Southsiders and the blacks, those things aren't really happening anymore as I understand it. It's more internal violence now, cleaning house and, somebody's got some bad paperwork or whatever the case may be. But like when I was doing time, it wasn't nothing to be locked down for a year because, there had been a riot between 2 groups, and now you're basically living in that cell for 9 months, a year. And then what they would do is they would bring out small groups, maybe 5 and 5, 10 and 10 of the groups that were beefing. And, they would just kind of keep an eye on it and see what was going to happen. And if it didn't kick off, then they would let some more out. And sometimes that was a ploy because you wanted to get your numbers out there so you could get your money, But sometimes they bring them small groups out and it'd be a 5-on-5. They'd kick it off and they would just lock you down for another 3 months before they even try, Scarecrow the Smoker says, thank God you haven't been back in 18 years. Yeah, no doubt about it. Life is definitely a lot better on, out here in the free world. Life has its challenges and, it can be very difficult at times, but my worst day out here is way better than my best day in there ever was, Max Hendry says, Bobby, did you ever get high in prison? In prison, no. I did use in LA County. and it was the only time I ever used incarcerated. And funny story with that one is somebody had rolled up. They had a decent amount of Folgers crystals, as we're calling it. And, he said, "You want some?" I didn't know how much he had. I said, "Nah, man, I'm cool." Because usually people would roll up and they would have a 20 or something. And like I had a dealer's habit, like I was using a lot. And he said, hold that thought, Scarecrow. I'll address that in just a moment. But yeah, he had enough. So he broke me off a little something. And the next day I was in court, no sleep, and making decisions on my life, basically. They wanted to continue me on probation, but I was on probation in 3 counties. So I said, well, why don't you just send me to prison and get me a parole officer so that I actually have a chance at, succeeding? Because the thing is, I was on probation in 3 counties, and, it's hard to find gainful employment, as they put it, while, visiting 3 probation officers a month. And, you know, but that was the only time I used. When I got to the pen, I seen it around, it was there. But okay, I'm gonna get off in a minute anyways, Mona. I got it from here. Thank you. But I seen what a 50 paper looked like, and I was like, man, these guys done bumped their head paying $50 for that. So yeah, in prison I never did. And plus I seen so many people get caught up over that, like people will give you credit, no problem, you know what I mean? But the moment you don't pay, they're gonna run and tell your people, or somebody's gonna stab you, basically. So it wasn't that serious to me. uh Scarecrow the Smoker says, did Southsiders have the number over the woods? Southsiders are deep, and the woods definitely weren't deep just about everywhere I went. um you know Pretty much in the counties, the only place where I seen relatively close numbers was in San Bernardino County. uh like I was actually in a dorm where there was like 5 Southsiders and like 30 Woods. So that was the one place I seen that. Other than that, Southsiders always had the numbers for sure. And the thing is, the what was I gonna say? The Paisas would kind of go along with the Southsiders play. So if say there were 10 Southsiders and 10 Woods and it was going to crack off, there were also 10 Paisas. So, they always had the numbers, basically. Dinah says, why are you broken? I don't consider myself broken anymore, but for the sake of the channel, that was the name that I came up with, because I was broken for a long time. And, now it's a transformation. Like I've transformed. That's Broken Bobby's transformation. So yeah, I was broken for a long time with addiction and incarceration and stuff like that. And now I've transformed. So if you guys are new to the channel and you enjoy war stories about prison, drugs, incarceration, all that sort of stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button before you head out. Also, do me a favor and smash that like button. It really helps with getting that algorithm going. Alfonso says, never judge a book by its cover. Everything you say is facts, OG. I appreciate you, Alfonso. Shout out to you. So, Scarecrow says, when the next live? Probably Saturday night. Uh, typically, like I work nights, so I tend to do things a little bit later, probably around 10 o'clock Saturday night. Could be earlier. I'll try to put something out on the community page letting you know what time we're gonna do it. But typically, I'll do Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I'll do lives because I'm out of work. So, and then I try to drop a few videos during the week. But I appreciate you stopping by. So Alfonso says, "What's your opinion on Fresno Bulldogs and Norteños?" I've never done any time with Norteños, but from what I understand, they're very militant. And much like the Woods, typically they're big minority on the yards as far as Southsiders and blacks. There's not a whole bunch of them, uh, but they're definitely with the business, no doubt about it. Very, very with the business. On the Fresno Bulldogs, I did a little bit of time on them. I actually did a video on doing time with the Bulldogs, and like those guys are with the business too. Like the thing is, from what I've seen in prison, it's like I've said already. It's a different world in there. So you got to bring your A game, and you got to be willing to show how violent you can be. It's almost like a defense mechanism, because like you get sent to do a removal or something, everybody's watching. They want to see how far you're willing to go, and like you're putting a demo down out there, like you mess with me, this is what could happen to you, type of thing. So uh, with the Bulldogs, though, I was around them a little bit, and uh, yeah, like I said, they're with the business. But I will say one thing: what CDCR is doing with the Bulldogs right now is straight up bull. Like with them trying to integrate them into these GP yards when you know they weren't a part of that agreement to end hostilities. And I think due to that, every time they try to put them on the yard, they're getting smashed. And there was a video circulating recently about that. I think it might have been Salinas Valley, where they put there's like 10 of them out on the yard, and there's different versions of that video popping up now. And but basically, I mean, can you imagine you and 9 of your homies getting dropped on a yard and the whole yard coming for you? Like, there's only so much you can do. Lamont Duffy says Compton Crib. What's up, Lamont? Shout out to Compton. I got a homie that's a Compton Crib. He's an OG. Yeah, Alfonso, they got smashed, to be honest, you know what I mean? But I was looking at a different version of that, and I pay attention to a lot of details. And when they put them out there, I noticed like they got into like a tactical formation almost. Like I was Bulldogs or with business though. Yeah, they're definitely with the business. I mean, they're not accepted on the main line, but oh, okay, yeah, I got you, Max. So but I mean, and the thing is, to be honest with you guys, these days, like I'm so far removed from it, I don't have a dog in the fight. I just see what I see, and do my best to offer my opinion. So but I mean, there's a lot of there's so many SNY gangs now, and stuff that, like, honestly, if I were to go back to prison today, like, I'd be so lost. I wouldn't know what was up. I wouldn't know which yards are good, which yards I could stay on. I'd have to get schooled real quick and brought up to speed on how things are working, because it was a lot different, when I was doing time. Like, we knew, like, in reception, like, basically you knew which yards were good and where we could go and program, and which yards we needed to get off of. And if you landed on, like, I think CMC East was bad at that time. So I knew if they sent me to CMC East, like, I had 72 hours to get off that yard, and that meant finding a target and getting off. And if, there was a nice high priority target that was known, that was in the hat, even better. But nowadays there are like so many with all the integrated yards and 50-50 yards and these SNY yards. Like I'd be lost. I'd be completely lost. And with the way that the CDC cops are playing games and trying to drop SNYs on GPs, I haven't really heard about GPs being dropped on SNYs, but I'm sure that's happening as well. And I mean, like it's prison's always been a dangerous place, but it's like level 1000 these days. Because like you could be with the business and all that stuff, have good hands and everything else. But, they drop you on a yard where you're not welcome. Like you're going to have problems. And, if you're lucky, you just get your ass whooped and have a story to tell about it, basically, to the homies that, you got off or whatever. If you're not so lucky, they might be landing a helicopter on that yard and taking you away. Or even worse, you might, not be breathing when it's done, I guess. Like I said, I'm trying to be careful with the words that I use. But yeah, this has been a great live. Like I said, I'll probably jump back on Saturday. I'm going to wrap it up. I hope everybody has a great night. I appreciate everybody tapping in and the good questions that everybody asked. And like I said, I'll tap back in with you guys on Saturday night, probably somewhere between 8 and 10 o'clock Cali time. So be on the lookout for that. And like I said, if you're new to the channel, check out my playlist. Like I have a ton of videos, pretty much any subject you want to hear about. I'm sure there's something there. Max says, one of those yards where you go, okay, I'm going to keep to myself your program and mind my own business. Right? And Daniel says, have a great night. You have a great night as well, Daniel. Yeah, so like I said, if you're new here, check out my playlist. If you like it, subscribe to the channel. Do me a favor and smash that like button while you're in here. It helps the channel to grow. Like I said, we're at like 950 subs. We're trying to get past that 1,000. And I have a special video in mind. I'll let you guys know more about it on the next live for when we crack 1,000 subs. So, all right, Max, I appreciate you. I'll see you Saturday night. You have a good one as well. And to everyone else, have a great night. I appreciate you guys checking in. I'll see you guys on Saturday. Be on the lookout for that video in the morning. Take care, guys.